This is Megan with the Cardi Bomb Squad, and I'm here with Jasmine Frederick with the Pillar to Post Scott Frederick team. Jasmine and I have worked alongside each other for a couple years now, and she is a great representation of the company she works for. So, Jasmine, why don't you introduce yourself and let us know a little bit more about your company?
Yeah. So my name's Jasmine Frederick. I am the marketing manager for Pillar to Post the Scott Frederick team. They started business back in 2013, and it was just Scott himself that did the home inspections. And now we do have a team of three inspectors that are all out in their own cars and everything. We service the whole St. Louis area. We don't cover Illinois, just the greater St. Louis area. So we're based out in Fenton, but we service a 50-mile radius of where our office is.
Right, that's awesome. All right, well, let's get into some questions about home buyers. So, let's start with what
Sweet.
buyers can look for before the inspection even happens. What are some common red flags that we should look out for in showings as agents and as home buyers?
Yeah. So a big one is always going to be cracks in the foundation, even
Right.
small cracks, because cracks obviously should not be there.
Right.
Even if it's a small one, it has the possibility of widening and letting water in.
Mhm.
And once you have that moisture in the home, then of course you can have the mold. Your foundation could eventually fail, and you don't want your house to quite literally fall over.
Right.
And then I would say mainly older houses. I would check the plumbing and everything. If they have the water on, maybe give it a little test to make sure all the plumbing's there. Because the last thing you want is to move into a new house and have sewage in your brand new house.
Right.
Electrical and yeah, just the structural of the whole house.
Right. And Pillar to Post also is incorporated with Superior Sewer. Did you want to talk about Superior Sewer a little bit?
Yeah. So we Superior Sewer is our sister company. We started Superior Sewer back in 2020 because being with home inspections, we noticed that there was a lack of quality sewer companies in the area. You found a lot of people that wouldn't answer the phone. You couldn't get a hold of anyone via email.
Right.
So we started the company based on the ideology of real estate because we understand real estate. You guys are on a time crunch. You have 10 days, 5 days that you need services done. So you need someone to answer you ASAP.
Yeah.
So that's how we started that company.
Yeah. And the Frederick team is very timely, very timely. We've had a couple cases where we need someone right away, and you guys are always there. So they do an amazing job at that.
Thank you.
So, staying on the subject of potential buyers, is there anything buyers might overlook thinking it's a cosmetic fix, but in actuality it's more in depth than that?
Yeah, so I would say any signs of moisture on a wall, you can kind of see some staining in drywall. That's not cosmetic. There was moisture previously there, which means moisture can come back.
Yep.
And that kind of goes back into what we were just saying. You don't want to have mold growing in your new house and get sick.
Yeah.
And then the other thing you can look out for would be the landscaping. You want to pay attention to the slope of the yard because,
Mhm.
again, that can also cause that moisture to get in. So you need to have proper drainage out in your yard.
Right. And that's something that some buyers don't think about. So we always have to be on the lookout for the hilly backyards that go right into the foundation. So that's good to know.
Yeah, sometimes buyers are worried about the silly things like, I
Right.
don't like that purple room. I don't like the
Yep.
blue.
Yep.
You can repaint, but if your
Yeah.
house is falling over, you got mold.
Yeah. Yep. It's easy to overlook those things sometimes. So that's good to know. Let's see. So there is a slight shift in the market with it favoring buyers right now. But these we still do see some buyer competition in some areas and some price points with people waiving their inspection contingencies. What's your guys' opinion on that?
My personal opinion is I would say saving $500 for not paying an inspection could cost you thousands in the long run.
Right.
So personally, I would not waive an inspection unless you did a walkthrough with a professional or a contractor
Yeah.
or even a home inspector.
Hmm.
Just because you may not be getting a full inspection report, but you are getting the knowledge of what they can see in the house that you don't have the knowledge of. So,
Right.
short answer, no, I would not waive an inspection. No way.
Yeah, we do not advise our clients to ever waive the inspection completely. If anything, we'll do it for informational purposes only, but at least you know what's going on and can still fix it down the line. But if you just have no clue what's going on, it's
Yeah.
you're in for some rude awakenings when stuff starts falling apart.
And we do have options for clients that don't necessarily want to do a whole home inspection. We do a thing called a walk and talk. So
Mhm.
essentially, our client would have a notebook and we would walk them around the house. And it really is kind of what it sounds like. We
Yeah.
walk and we talk about the home.
Yeah.
And you get to write down all of the defects that we find and everything. Again, you don't get the inspection report, but
Mhm.
it's a lot more affordable and you have the knowledge of what is going on.
Right. Those are really useful. I think we've done a couple of those for our clients, and those are really nice, really helpful.
I believe those ones are 239 or $49.
Yeah. So
So in comparison to a $600 inspection,
right.
that could be the more affordable way to go.
Right. Yeah. No, that's a really good option that you guys have. I'm glad you guys offer that. So there, with no perfect home exists, what does a clean inspection report actually look like? And is that really a thing?
Um, Look, that is not a thing. Even with new constructions and everything, there is always going to be some defect in a house. I'm sorry to burst any
Yeah.
bubbles, but no house is perfect, and you will never, ever, ever find a clean home inspection report.
Right.
Never.
Yeah. Yeah. That you have come across. I've never seen one. So on the subject of no perfect home, what's the most wild or unexpected thing your team has found in an inspection?
Man, we've done thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of home inspections in the St. Louis area, and we have found yeah, we found some interesting things. So, we can start with squatters. Something
Yeah.
people don't think about. We've had squatters in a house, and we've had to call the cops on them to have them removed.
Yep.
One of our home inspectors found a voodoo doll set while he was doing an inspection. That was kind of creepy. I'm not gonna lie,
Yeah, that'd make me run.
because I could not imagine.
Oh,
And then, I mean, we didn't find this one in a house, but this one was a funny thing that actually happened recently. Our operations manager, he climbed a ladder to go into an attic,
mhm.
and then he had a cat follow him up the ladder into the attic with him. So now he's chasing around this cat, trying to get it out of the attic, of course.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, we have had some interesting
Yeah. Yeah,
experiences
I
for
bet you
sure.
guys run into a lot. So it always makes
Yes.
me to
A
follow an
couple
inspector
things
around.
I are not appropriate on camera, but yes.
Let your mind wander on that
Yeah.
one. All right.
Yeah, for real.
So before we get into some advice for current homeowners, let's talk about the new construction for a second that you mentioned. So a lot of people think it's brand
Yeah.
new, so I don't need an inspection. It just got built. What could be wrong with it? But that's actually a big misunderstanding. So what's your take on that? I know you kind of said it already, but
So, new builds really ultimately do have the same issue that old houses do. Obviously, in my opinion, I think every home should be inspected regardless of its age.
mhm.
I mean, new construction houses for the most part are okay, but there's a lot of hidden areas that most people wouldn't be able to see. Kind of tying in with Superior Sewer, for example.
Yeah.
Think about how fast these home builders are throwing up these houses. They're equally putting in that sewer system just as fast. So
Right.
when they're backfilling, you don't realize how heavy the equipment is. And sometimes that PVC will start to do one of these numbers.
Yeah.
And it kind of again goes back to, you don't want sewage in your brand new house, especially a new construction house, because now you have the moisture with the mold. You just want to avoid that altogether. And last month we did a sewer scope, and on a new construction home, why would you need a sewer scope on a new construction? They just put it together. It
Mhm.
was full of gravel. They
Oh,
didn't connect the joints. So all the gravel that they put to backfill, their whole line was just covered in gravel. Then
mm.
we had another new construction, AT&T came out. They drilled an entire AT&T line into the sewer
Oh,
system.
wow.
Within 2 days, not even a day maybe, that homeowner would have had a massive backup had they not gotten that inspection.
Right, right.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
That is crazy. Those are good stories because I didn't even think about the gravel. and how they're being built so fast. They're also building those sewer systems way too fast, and it just caused for some problems.
And sometimes they don't connect the joints how they should.
Yeah, during our listing appointments, we typically advise a homeowner to complete a pre-listing inspection, which is an inspection prior to going on the market. This not only helps a potential buyer, but also sheds some light on some issues the seller might not be aware of. So, do you guys offer something like this? If so, do you perform these often, and what's a rough cost on that?
Yeah, so pre-listing inspections, I feel like are more common than you would think. Not by any means more common than just a normal standard home inspection, but I would say we do about one or two pre-listings a week.
Oh, wow.
And that ranges in price. So we go based off of square footage, just to have fair pricing and everything.
Right.
So a rough range could be $339 to $400. And I think it is very smart for the seller to do that to get the most bang of their buck with selling their home
Right.
because they can go ahead and disclose those issues and sell it as is and say, I know this is wrong with my house, but we're
Right.
not negotiating. Or
Mhm.
they could have, somebody come and make those repairs, find somebody affordable, and then it brings the value of their house up even more. So they have the potential to make more money than what they
Exactly.
normally would have.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I think those pre-listing inspections are good for both parties. If they're selling as is, it's
Yes.
really good for the buyer to see that, or even a past like occupancy inspection, because they know the sellers aren't trying to hide anything. And sometimes when you sell as is, people start to wonder what's wrong with it. Why won't they make any repairs? What's wrong
Yes.
with it? So I think having that's really helpful.
And I will say on the seller end, if you ever have a seller that their agent refuses to allow a home inspection, that to me is a screaming red flag.
Yeah. Yeah.
To not allow any inspection, they're hiding something.
Right. Right. That's a major red flag. We do not want to offer on any homes like that. That's not right.
No.
All right. So wrapping up a little bit here, curious to know if you have any advice on any seasonal maintenance tips homeowners should keep in mind as they take care of their home throughout the year.
Gutters.
Yeah.
Gutters, gutters, gutters.
Yep.
They are so stinking important with the home. And so many foundational issues just start with somebody not cleaning out their gutters. And so many problems can be avoided
Right.
if they just clean out their gutters.
Yeah.
Put the ladder up on the house, scoop it out. You do not want that water running into your foundation because it goes back to what we've been talking about. The
Right.
mold, you're going to ruin your foundation. Your house is eventually going to fall over.
Mm.
And I don't know if you guys have been seeing in St. Louis City, but all of those sinkholes that have been happening
Yeah.
where water's just pooling under the house for years and years, and then eventually your house just falls in.
Yeah.
So gutters, 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 biggest seasonal tip I can ever recommend.
Yeah.
And then the other one for the winter time, I would say insulating your pipes,
Mm-hmm.
not overworking your HVAC system,
Yep.
always changing out your filters. And a big one in the basement to help with that moisture would be dehumidifiers
Yep.
to just extract all of that moisture.
Yeah. I think those are all great tips. Water is never good. Water in the house is never a good thing. And cleaning out the gutters or changing an air
Water is your worst
filter things.
enemy.
Yeah, just the simple things that will
Yes.
really save you a lot of money in the long run. So that's good advice. And I hope
And
that,
if you don't take anything else from this interview, clean your gutters, please.
yes, yes, clean your gutters, clean your gutters, clean your,
Oh,
that is really good advice. All right. Well, that's all I have for you today, Jasmine. Thanks for agreeing to do this with me and give us some insight and advice for our clients, whether home buyers or homeowners. And we really appreciate your time, and your company is awesome, and we will continue to use them.
thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate you
Of course.
guys.
Thank you.